Today's video is going to be a full makeup look and a full skincare routine using all of my go-to staples from e.l.f. Cosmetics and e.l.f. Skin. I'm so excited to say today's video is actually sponsored by e.l.f. and I'm excited to work with them because you know how much I love e.l.f. I talk about their products almost every single week here on my channel because they're either coming out with something new that I cannot wait to try, or I'm sharing a go-to staple that I have raved about for years. I've been using their products for over 15 years and they just continue to get better and better. One of the reasons why I love e.l.f. so much is because they truly do make beauty accessible for everyone. They have gorgeous, high quality formulas at amazing, affordable prices. Everything is cruelty-free and vegan. And like I said, they're always coming out with something new and exciting. So they have products in all different categories. There are so many skincare products that are staples of mine. Makeup I love, brushes I use every single day. So I wanted to do a full makeup routine and a full skincare routine, just highlighting all of my go-to staples. I'll make sure to list everything that I'm using in the description box below so you can easily shop through those links, find all of the details, the shade names, the brushes, everything that I mentioned. And I'll also pin a comment below with all of the information as well, so it's a little bit easier to find. Okay, let's start with skincare. My skincare routine right now is pretty simple. It consists of cleanser, serum, moisturizer, and then of course sunscreen. So I wanted to share some of my go-to staples with you. e.l.f. Skin has products that will work for you no matter what your skin type is, no matter what your skincare goals are, whether you have oily skin, combo, dry, sensitive, acne prone. I kind of fall into all of those categories these days, and I love so many of their products. So let's start with cleanser. One of my favorite lines from e.l.f. is the Holy Hydration line. I think I've tried pretty much everything from that line, and the products all work so beautifully, both separately but also together. This, I think, is the newest addition to the line, the Holy Hydration Clean Freak Daily Cleanser. This is a great option, really, no matter what your skin type is. I love a good gel cleanser, and this one is nice because it's very thin, very lightweight, but it also lathers really well. So let me go wet my hands and my face. I love a good gel cleanser, especially during the summertime, because I don't always want something too heavy or too intense. This one lathers really nicely. It's very gentle and it doesn't strip my skin. It leaves it feeling really hydrated. So I've actually been using this in the morning and at night just to cleanse my skin before I go in with any serums, any moisturizers, any sunscreen. After washing my face, I've been going in with their Bright Icon Vitamin C, E, and Ferulic Serum. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago when I tried it out for the first time, and I've been using it very consistently. I told you that I would document my results for you because it's been a little while since I've used a brightening serum regularly, and this one is really nice. It's very lightweight and it leaves your skin looking very glowy. So I just want to show you, it gets very smooth, not sticky at all. That has been my biggest issue with other vitamin C serums, other brightening serums in the past, but this one goes on well and leaves your skin looking very glowy. I personally deal with a lot of dark spots, some hyperpigmentation. My skin is very breakout prone, as you can see. So typically when it does break out, I'm left with a dark spot. And since incorporating this into my routine regularly, just a couple of weeks ago, I have noticed a big difference, especially around my chin. My chin has been breaking out quite a bit this summer, and the dark spots do not last as long. And overall, I just feel like it helps to brighten up my skin. It gives it a nice glowy appearance. So I've been enjoying this formula a lot. It feels good and it works well. One of my holy grail skincare products from e.l.f. is definitely their Holy Hydration Face Cream. I have been consistently repurchasing this for years and years. So they have the original version. They also have one that has SPF 30, and the one that I've been using most frequently, at least over the last few months, has been the fragrance-free version. You honestly don't need a lot of this product, but this is something that I will use all year long, no matter if my skin is a little bit more oily or combo in the summer, if it leans kind of dry in the winter. It's just the perfect texture for really any skin type. My skin has gone through quite a few changes over the last few years. It used to be incredibly oily. These days, it's more combo. No matter what my skin is like, I can use this product because it truly deeply hydrates the skin, but it doesn't feel greasy. It's not overly thick. It's not so thin that it feels like it disappears into nothing. It really is like the perfect in-between texture, and it leaves my skin feeling and looking so soft, really, really moisturized. So again, I've been using and repurchasing this product for years. And if you're looking for a good staple go-to moisturizer, I highly recommend this one. Now, the final step, but the most important step, is sunscreen. A lot of people tend to purchase sunscreen when it starts to feel like summer. You're spending time outside, it's sunny, it's hot, you're going on vacation at the beach or the pool, but it is important to wear sunscreen every single day. One thing that I love about Gen Z specifically is that they are dedicated to their skincare routine. They will not miss a morning, they will not miss a night. They have all of their products. They love their anti-aging products, even though they are years away from actually aging. But I love the commitment to the skincare routine, the fact that they value it so much. But something that I've noticed and I've actually read about recently is the fact that a lot of Gen Zers end up skipping sun protection. Not everyone, of course, but I just read a statistic that said 52% of Gen Z adults ages 18 to 26 are unaware of key sunburn risks, which include premature aging, but even more importantly, increased skin cancer risks. There's a lot of misinformation about sunscreen floating around out there, and some of them I can maybe understand why people might believe it. Like, some people say if my makeup has sunscreen in it, that is adequate. I don't need to wear anything underneath, which is not really always the case. Some people think if it's cloudy outside, they don't need to wear sunscreen. So you can kind of maybe see where that misinformation is coming from. But a lot of people are just completely misinformed. As I was looking into this, I actually read a survey from Orlando Health that said nearly 1/4 of adults under 35 believed that staying hydrated would prevent sunburn. So I'm telling you, there's so much misinformation floating around out there, but what it comes down to is the fact that you need to wear sunscreen. Sun protection is so incredibly important. The key for me personally in actually like committing to wearing sunscreen every single day was finding a formula that I loved to apply, like something that looked good and felt good both on its own and under makeup. e.l.f. Skin's Suntouchable line has a ton of great options. I've talked about all of these products on my channel, and no matter what you're looking for in a sunscreen or a formula, whether you're using it to complete your skincare routine or kick off your makeup routine, they definitely have something that will work well for you. My personal favorite is the Suntouchable Wow Glow. This actually comes in 3 different shades. I like the shade Sunbeam, but depending on your skin tone or your personal preferences, you might have another shade that works better for you. I'm going to apply it to half of my face so you can see the difference. This is something that I love to wear under makeup because it gives the skin the most gorgeous glow. And if you love a nice glowy base, this is going to be the one for you. This formula is very lightweight, so it sinks in quickly. It feels light on the skin. It doesn't have like a heavy, thick, greasy feel at all. It's really, really weightless. And look at the difference. This is what it looks like on my skin versus without. You can see the intense glow, and that glow will actually shine through under foundation, which is great. So I'm just going to apply this to my face before I go in with makeup. It really is the perfect kind of end of your skincare routine, beginning of your makeup routine. They do have the Suntouchable Invisible Sunscreen. This one is broad spectrum SPF 35. I'll swatch this one so you can see what the texture of this looks like up close. If you feel like this one is maybe a little bit too glowy for you and you prefer more of like a velvety texture, something that doesn't have any, glow or color to it, this one might be a little bit more ideal. I love a good stick sunscreen for on-the-go application. This is the Suntouchable Invisi-Stick Broad Spectrum SPF 50. You can use this all over your face. I actually use this on my neck fairly often because I feel like it just is easy to apply, and I don't always want my neck to look super glowy. Sometimes I do, especially during the summer. I'll take that glowy sunscreen down on my neck and my chest, but this one just seems to like fit in the areas under your jaw and on your neck really well. So I'll use this to apply it to my neck, my chest, but also the back of my hands. I'll always bring this with me on the go. I have one in my purse, and then I have one where I sit and do my makeup in the morning because it's so convenient. It goes on really nicely. And sometimes when you're doing like your hands, everyone always says the back of your hands, but they don't really mention like your fingers kind of in between. I mean, it's important to wear sunscreen everywhere, but this is just so convenient because, again, it's not greasy. It definitely has a nice smooth finish, but if you're not, again, into like that super glowy look for the rest of your body, your neck, your chest, this is great. But the main reason why I love it is because it is so convenient for on the go. And then they do have the Suntouchable All Set for Sun spray. I'll use this at the end of the video to set my makeup, but I love this for reapplication throughout the day if I'm wearing a full face of makeup. If practically speaking, you're not going to take it off and reapply your base sunscreen sunscreen and then reapply your makeup, this is a nice way to get that added sun protection throughout the day. Highly recommend the Suntouchable line, especially now that they have so many different options. You'll easily be able to find something that works well for you. And if you're not wearing sunscreen already every single day, now is the time to start. There's no shame in starting, even if it's later on. Your skin will thank you and you'll be really glad you did. Okay, so moving on to makeup. I think I'll keep it pretty simple, but I just wanted to incorporate all of my favorites and just do a full face of e.l.f. because it's been a little while since I've done that. So for foundation, I am going to use the Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I have the shade 20 Light Cool, which is just a little bit light for me right now because I did get a slight tan. I also use just some like sunless tanning products, you know, probably like once or twice a week. So I'm going to start with this and then mix in a little bit of the e.l.f. bronzing drops. I have the shade Pure Gold. This is great really no matter what time of the year, but it's so nice if you have complexion products that are a little bit too light for you, because this is a great way to, you know, bronze them up without having to go out and buy an entirely new shade. So I mixed in a little bit of those bronzing drops. I might have to go in with slightly more just so my face matches my neck. And I'm just going to blend it into the skin. This is the e.l.f. Buffing Foundation brush. I'll make sure to link all of the brushes that I'm using in the description box below as well. I think I might need just like a tiny touch more of those bronzing drops. I think this foundation originally launched in the winter, and I did love it in the winter, but I think I almost like it even more during the summertime, just because it does wear very, very well on my skin, but it just feels so lightweight, which during the summer, that's all I want. Like very lightweight, very comfortable products. And you can see the glow underneath is definitely from the sunscreen. Like this foundation is a true satin finish. So there's a slight glow to it, but nothing too intense. So I love that you can, you know, kind of switch it up by using such a glowy base underneath. And this really is just such a pretty sunscreen. And obviously the main goal with sunscreen is sun protection. But again, the key to wearing it every single day is finding something you love, like the way it looks and the way it feels. And I love how this one looks under makeup. Before I go in with concealer, I'm going to do a little bit of bronzing. I'm trying to decide which shade to use. This is the Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour. Sometimes I mix these shades together, so I have a fair and then fair light. I think today I'm just going to go in with fair light and go for more of like a true bronzy look. And then this is the Complexion Duo Brush, which is my favorite for both cream and liquid cheek products. I have a million of these, and it's actually really great for foundation and concealer as well, but I tend to use it more so for cheek products because it just blends the product out in 2 seconds. This is the true definition of undetectable. If you feel like creams can be a little bit too heavy for you, which I do love a good cream bronzer, but I know that's not the case for everyone. Some people prefer a liquid because it is so lightweight. And if that is the case for you, this is such an easy, effortless formula. It blends in 2 seconds. I love the blushes. I love the bronzer and contour shades because they're not too warm. Like this one is obviously, it's warm. It's going to warm up the skin, but I also have this much cooler tone shade, which is great if you want to actually contour. I like to do bronzer first because then I'll go in with my concealer and just kind of clean it up a little bit. So this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I have the shade Fair Warm, which you honestly just need the tiniest amount of this product. I recently repurchased it, well, probably like a month ago at this point, and I love it because a little bit goes such a long way. Like I probably even still applied a little bit too much. For some reason, I think I'm just used to other formulas where I feel like I have to really load it on, but you really don't have to with this one. Like a tiny bit goes a long way. It just blends out so fast and then it stays in place well. Even though, you know, it has the word hydrating in the name, if you have oily skin, I still think you would really like this product because it's not overly glowy. It doesn't have like that, you know, super watery texture that some other hydrating concealers can tend to have. And those are fine, but they wear off so quickly. And that's the reason why I like this one, because it stays in place really well throughout the day, even on a hot summer day. So I tend to focus this in the center of my face, and then I'll just use it to kind of diffuse the edges of the bronzer so it doesn't look too harsh. And then I usually like to go underneath as well in case I pulled the bronzer down a little bit too low. For blush, I am going to use the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. I can't decide which shade to go with. I actually brought 4 shades over because I knew I would wear one, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go like really vibrant or a little bit softer. I think I'm actually going to maybe mix these two. I'm mainly going to use this lighter one. This one is called Peach Perfect. And then I'm going to mix in just a little bit of Coral Crush, which is pretty vibrant. I just did like a tiny drop of the coral one because, again, these are very pigmented, very beautiful, but they're so easy to blend out. If you're kind of intimidated by liquid blush, I feel like liquid bronzer isn't quite as intimidating, but sometimes liquid blush can be a little bit intimidating. This is a great formula to go with because it just melts into the skin so easily, blends out really well, and then stays in place well throughout the day too. I'm just going to go back and forth between the blush and then whatever I had left on my foundation brush to kind of tone it down. I don't tend to go super vibrant with my blush. I always think that I would like to, but brighter, more intense colors can intimidate me a little bit. So that is why I like mixing shades together. It kind of makes it more fun because you can create a custom shade. So these are great if you like to kind of play around, mix shades together. But even if you don't want to do that, there are so many gorgeous shades that would work really well for you, no matter what type of colors you're into. Softer, more natural colors, or really vibrant, bright colors, especially for summer. Last thing before I go in and set my makeup, I'm just taking a little bit of that liquid bronzer and just using it to kind of contour the nose a little bit. To set my face, I'm going to start with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Setting Powder. I do have the pressed version as well, which I might use for the perimeter of my face, but I'm going to use this one to really set the center of my face. Again, another staple of mine for years and years. I always recommend this powder to people who feel like they don't like powder. If for whatever reason you're like, I don't like the way powder feels or looks on my skin, it always looks dry, it always looks heavy, highly recommend this formula because it is, again, I think I said this about the blush, but truly the definition of weightless. It is so light on the skin and very, very undetectable, especially if you use like a larger fluffy brush. I'm using one of these little puffs, and that's going to obviously apply a little bit more product. But even still, it feels very light on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all. If you want like the lightest application, this with a large fluffy brush is perfect because you can't feel it on the skin. It is so soft, so natural. As much as I love a beautiful, glowy, super intense finish, I have to set everything with powder because my skin does get pretty oily throughout the day, especially today. It's going to be 90 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's going to be a hot one. So now that the center of my face is set, I'm just going to lightly set the outer perimeter. Nothing too intense because that part of my face doesn't really get oily, so I don't need as much powder. And then I'm going to do my brows off camera before I get started on the eyes, just to save some time. I'm going to keep the eyes pretty simple today. That's kind of been my go-to throughout the summer. This is the e.l.f. Bite Size Palette in Take Your Pink. This one's a little bit of a newer quad, but I love these quads so much. I think they're great if you tend to like a simple eyeshadow look because they come with 4 shades and you can use them to create, typically you can use them to create like a very soft look, or you can make it a little bit more sparkly, slightly more dramatic. Again, today I'm just going to keep it pretty soft and natural. So I'm just taking this shade and blending it into the crease. These are great little travel palettes. I always bring, I actually just repurchased it. I always bring this one with me when I travel. This one is I Love You a Latte. It just comes with 4 just matte shadows that are great to have to create either like a soft natural look or a little bit more of a smoky eye. But they're also just nice to have in your collection if you want a simple quad. If you don't want to be overwhelmed by choices, these are great because they did a great job just pairing 4 shades together. So you can get a little bit of like a softer, more natural look, or you can go in with one of the sparkly shades all over the lid, one of the deeper shades to really smoke it out. I'm just taking the same shade right on my lower lash line just to tie things together. And then I'll go in with one of the shimmers all over the lid. Actually, I think for the lid, I'm going to use the Finest Fleck Glitter Eyeshadow. This one is in the shade White Hot, just to really brighten up the eye look and add a little bit more sparkle. I'm just going to tap this all over my lid. I like this shade specifically because it gives like a very wet look to the eyes. So it's nice if you're doing something a little bit more natural, but you can also layer this over more of an intense color. And I feel like it just enhances it in that way too. And then I'm just going to go back in with the pink shade one last time in the crease. And that's pretty much it for the eyes. Very simple. Actually, to really finish off the eyes, I am going to go in with the e.l.f. Incredicurl Mascara. This one is in black. I love this one because I do feel like it does a great job of lifting the lashes and adding like a nice curled finish and just kind of opening up the eyes. But you can also build it up to look pretty dramatic, which I love as well. Here's what a very light layer looks like. I mean, you can definitely tell that it lifted the lashes. I didn't curl my lashes with an eyelash curler ahead of time, and I have very straight lashes. So honestly, if this can lift my lashes, I'm sure it can lift your lashes too. I'm just going to add a little bit more bronzer. I think I'm good with blush, but I feel like I just need a tiny more bronzer. This is the e.l.f. Primer-Infused Bronzer, and I'm using the shade Tan O'Clock. Again, a favorite for years. It just looks so smooth on the skin. And then to blend everything together, I'm just taking the Halo Glow pressed powder, and I have the shade Light Neutral. This just gives your cheeks, your skin as a whole, the most beautiful, like you can see the difference, the smooth finish. If you have textured skin like me, I think you'll love this product. And sometimes people who have texture or breakout or large pores can tend to avoid glowy products. But this product truly gives your skin like this filtered glowy effect. It makes such a difference. So I love using this as like the finishing step to my makeup because it just kind of blends and melts everything together in the prettiest, softest way. Well, I guess the final step would be the lips. So I'm going to take one of the e.l.f. Sheer Fort blush tints. I always have a hard time choosing. My favorite shade is this one, which is Plums Up. It's so pretty. It's like the most gorgeous berry. And what's nice is you can take a small amount or you can gradually layer it up for more of an intense look. So I'm just going to go in with a pretty light layer. I just want a good base stain that I know is going to stay in place well throughout the day. And then I'm going to take one of the e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liners just to kind of outline and define my Cupid's bow mainly. This one's in the shade Pinky Swear. Love this formula. It truly is like the creamiest lip liner formula ever. So it's very forgiving. It's great if you want to kind of overline because it is such a creamy formula. There's not such a distinct line between where your natural lip line ends and where the pencil goes. So I love it for that purpose too. Then to finish things up, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Sun Boss Gloss. This one is in the shade Blush Much. I absolutely love this product because not only is the texture great, it's very soft, very plush, really pretty and glossy. It actually is broad spectrum SPF 25. So you're also getting sun protection on your lips, which I think for a lot of people is an area they tend to skip when it comes to sunscreen. So this is really nice because it's such an easy way to not only initially apply that protection, but to reapply it throughout the day. You get a really pretty, gorgeous, glossy sheen, and then you're protecting your lips. And then, like I said, a great option to set your makeup or to reapply sun protection throughout the day is the Suntouchable All Set for Sun Broad Spectrum SPF 45. I love this product. It gives your skin like a nice glowy finish. So again, if you love that glowy, dewy look, this is great to set your makeup, but it's also just nice to reapply throughout the day. So usually I just shake it up. Let me stop talking so I can apply it. Spray it on my skin, let it dry for a few seconds, and I'm good to go. So that is it for today's video. All of my favorite e.l.f. Cosmetics products and e.l.f. Skin products all in one video. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to e.l.f. for sponsoring today's video. Again, I'll make sure to list everything that I used in the description box below. You can find all of these products on elfcosmetics.com, as well as so many more of my favorites. So I was really excited to film today's video. I really appreciate you being here and watching. I will see you very soon with a new one. Bye.